Ted Williams with you.
It's the golden voice, golden
That's
voice.
right.
It's the golden voice. Show. Your voice is golden.
That's right. Oh, I love my theme song. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Golden Voice Show. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, I have a good lineup for you and a lot of things to talk about and even some of my crazy stories. You know what time it is. And I want to thank you all for sharing my show on your social media pages. Hey, I want to start the show with this thought. Are you ready for the Golden Voice Show? My celebrities are coming very shortly. You know, the Wesley Snipes, the Will Smiths, and all of that. Mike Eps and all of those great people will be on my show after I get to know you and after you get to know me. Speaking of which, Mike Eps, my buddy, he did my little intro and he did the man with the golden jokes. You know, I bring up Mike Eps for two reasons. Number one, when I first met him, I didn't even know who he was. And everybody tried to get me to know that he was Ice Cube's buddy. Just like Dr. Phil. The Dr. Phil thing was the same thing. He's Oprah's buddy. That's not a reason to know somebody. But anyway, Mike Eps, man, did the man with the golden jokes because my video went viral, and I guess he wanted to take a take on it. So he came to Columbus, Ohio, at the Palace Theater, downtown Columbus, and he was looking for me because on the day of his concert, he stood there on the same corner that I stood on, and he was the man with the golden jokes.
When you're listening to nothing but oldie but goodies, you're listening to 99.9 FM Kiss Radio.
Now, I thought it was rather flattering that he would do that. He had the camouflage jacket, looking like a crazy man and all. Well, he got in contact with my then manager that I want Ted Williams to bring me out. I accepted. And it was a $1,500 5-minute payday. And the warm-up comedian had introduced me. And how he introduced me, which I heard standing in the wings prior to going on, he said, "Columbus, are you ready for your homeboy?" Well, when he finally got through there, the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams. Well, I think that the people were expecting Mike Eps to come out. And when I got to full center stage, oh, there was an enormous amount of love, energy, and applause. People were screaming, photographs, flashbulbs. You would have thought I was Mike Eps. But when I walked out on that stage and received all of that love, a homeless crackhead who was getting adulation, again, like I was a $20 million picture man, I walked out there and the only thing I could do was I showed my new teeth, my veneer caps like hell, and they went even more wild. Then I had a brand new pair of Jordans. I lifted them up and showed them my new Jordans. Oh, that just did it. They went crazy. And when I grabbed that microphone, and the first words that came out of my mouth was, "God is good." Man, you would have thought the rafters were about to fall down. People gave me so much love. And my emotions had built up so much that the only things I could say at that point was, I know, and I said it tearfully, mind you, everybody reminds me of that. I said it tearfully. Many of y'all have seen me on 71 in Hudson, and people went wild because they were making acclamations that they had been there, you know, and seen me or whatever. And I said, and not now one of you damn people gave me a nickel. I said, nickel. And man, they laughed for like 20 minutes, man. I couldn't say nothing else. And I think I said, thank you so much for the love and support. But are you ready? I remember that. And that was the first time I'd heard my mouth, my voice echo through an audience. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the golden jokes, Mike Eps. Man, they went, because I'd never seen Friday. If you recall, I was homeless, so I certainly didn't have a VCR in the woods. People were just went wild. So when he came out, he grabbed me. We met in center stage, and I thought I was supposed to say, Mike Eps. And then I hand him the mic, and he say, thank you, and go on with the show, and I go to the side, get my $1,500, and get the hell out of there. Well, it didn't happen that way. Mike grabbed me, and the mic was like between him and I's hugs. And I was just going to think maybe that was just a hug. Thank you. And I'm pulling away. And as I'm pulling away, he's holding me tighter. And I'm like, Mike, let me go. This is coming across the audience now. Mike, let me go. Okay, thank you, Mike. All you hear is this little tiny struggle for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, until finally I break away. Man, get off me. And Mike took the microphone, and as I was walking and thanked Columbus, for your love, he said, now the nigga got money, he don't want to talk to nobody. And I looked back and all and, said, okay. And I'll tell you a good story. Down at the Cincinnati Riverfront Jazz Festival, Luther Vandross, I met Luther, and Luther shook my hand, but this finger kept going in my hand. So, everybody said, oh, you met Luther Vandross? I said, yeah. And then when I explained to them, oh, Luther loves you, Luther likes you, it was something I'd never experienced before. But I also get asked a lot, why are my hands so soft? I've shaken some people's hands that felt like boots. You know what I mean? They were they were hard as hell. You almost wanted to give them some lotion or have saying, want me to buy you some lotion? And there's people out here with feet and let me just say one thing. I love feet, women's feet, not every foot, but listen, you ought to know as a person that you can't wear open-toed shoes. And for people that like myself would look at and just shake their head like, don't she know that the polish is cracking? Don't she know she got a big bunion that can't be taken care of, and they got nerve to have a little Band-Aid on it. Big bunion with a little tiny Band-Aid. Just don't wear them, honey. Even if your husband doesn't tell you. Just know that there's people that look at you from head to toe. Just like people that, again, I'm going back to the Jerry curls. People love that curly and that fresh look. But you got grease spots all on your shoulder and stuff. Yeah, it's not kind, It's not kind to do that to yourself. I like to pick out topics to talk to you about because there's so many things I want you to know about me, and I want to know about you. I joined the United States Army in the telecommunications center as a telecommunications center specialist, and I was on the American Forces Korean Network. And my job every day was to run syndicated program. Casey Kasem's Top 40 was one, and then they had a news service that would send us various records back then that we would play for the troops over in Korea and East Asian countries. And every day, being the rebellious brother I was, every day I had a different name, rank, and branch. In other words, today I'm Army Sergeant Ted Witt. Now, mind you, I'm only an Army private, but every day I had a different rank and branch. And anybody that knew me would bust out laughing, but they knew I wasn't no damn major. I always get these women that say, the only way you can get me, baby, is if you're this, or if you're that, or if you're this. And now I'm that and this and all that and a bag of chips, and I can't get near one. But I was at a particular camp, and I decided literally to impersonate an officer so that I can get this black chick on down in Georgia. So I listen, if you're going to go to Fort Leavenworth, which is jail in America, if you're going to go to Fort Leavenworth, go for the gusto. Don't go for nothing weak. So I put on major bars. A major leaf. Anybody know that? That's a gold leaf in the Army and Air Force and Marines. Navy has their own thing. But I was a major. That's like, I might as well put on general stripes. So I put a major on. The woman was a captain, and I saluted her as an enlisted person. I was only a private. So I walked off, and there she was. Beautiful. She looked at my rank. She was a captain, 2 bars. I was a major. I was over her. And boy, she fell in love. We fell in love. We did the nasty. We went to the officers club and all. One day, I was going to the PX. I got on the bus, and I had my regular uniform on. And when I stepped off that bus, the first thing as a soldier was to salute to her because she was an officer. And when she looked on my lapels and saw my rank as an enlisted private, tears were coming down her eyes because I had just did my funky with her, and only because I assumed the identity of an officer. So when I stepped off the bus, I said, and another officer was standing there, which enlisted people do not address an officer by their first name, let alone not salute. And she looked at me. She said, front-leaning rest position, soldier. And that meant I had to drop to my knees immediately and go in a push-up position until she started counting. And when I didn't, the officer next to her said, did you hear what she said, Private? And I assumed the position, and she started counting. And all while she's counting, you could hear her like, I'm a fool. He played me for a fool. Because this was the thing. Each time I did 1, 2, I'm doing push-ups until she stops counting or get tired 1. As I'm going down, I had to kiss her shoe. That was her, that's what I had to do. So I would be like, 1, 2. I mean, I did this for like 80. And my arms and then I get to that part where 80 of them, my arms are shaking and everything. I just fell at her shoe. I went 70, boom, and I just dropped to her shoe. She said, I'm not finished counting. I can't tell you how much I want to say. Yes, you are. I was. So after I left the Army as being a person almost brought up on charges for impersonating an officer, I came to civilian radio, and I worked at 3 radio stations within 1 year of different time slots, unheard of. And I carried my audience from each station to the next. And it would be grown already, So there was a record by Club Nouveau called Lean on Me. And man, Columbus, we got hype on that, right? One morning, and see, when you play something at 7 a.m. for a person, to a person who doesn't get up till 8 or 9 and hasn't heard it, you kind of, they'll call you from time to time and say, hi, can you play Lean on Me? Honey, I played that an hour ago. I hated playing the one record 5 times in 1 hour. So what I did was, I said, good morning, everybody, WCKX 106.3. Get your tape recorders ready. Get whatever you have to do, because here's Lean on Me. And I know I'm going to cause, because my program director, Rick Stevens at the time, if I played a record too many times, he would say, you got more music in there other than that. He'd call me on what we call the hotline. And I played Lean on Me twice. Now, he thought it was a joke. Okay, Ted got off on me. Third time he heard it, I answered the hotline. I'd say, yeah, Ted, don't play that no more. I'd say, okay. I won't, Rick. I'm just, okay, I know it's a joke, but now it's starting to be stupid. So I said, okay. So when he got off the phone, I said, that was Club Nouveau and Lean on Me. Right now, here's Club Nouveau with Lean on Me. Oh, man. I played it about 2 or 3 times before he called again. He said, listen, damn it, I'm coming down to that station right now. So right after, you'd hear Club Nouveau. That's Club Nouveau with Lean on Me. Here's Club Nouveau with more of Lean on Me. The people loved it. Everything. Man, I went into the office area and broke my key off so here he comes, and he couldn't get on. And the more he got, I could see his face in the window, because normally when he was going like that, I was going, lean on me, lean on me. Doom, doom. And I'd be bouncing around to the sound. He knew how it was sounding by the way I was bouncing. I'd stand up and be like, boom, 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 boom. He'd go to his car to see if the damn record was still playing. Lean on me, boom, boom, when you're not, boom, boom, Oh, man. Here's the whole outcome of it all. They fired me. They fired me instantly. I had to get off the air. It was like 10 minutes before, because normally I would say, that's going to do it for this edition of my service mission till I return to Bern tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. I have a sign-off. And there's another story with that sign-off. He they just pulled me off. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye or nothing, to the people. No, what I did was before he came in to fire me, I said, well, I might get fired for this, but maybe, do you know they fired me at 10 a.m. in the morning, at 10 a.m., and I was rehired the following day. And people were standing in front of WCKX on Parsons and Broad, right at the corner, 696 East Broad Street, with picket signs saying, bring Ted back, bring Ted back. Yeah, so I got rehired. Hey, listen, let me just say this. There are a lot of times throughout our life, we have losses, and depending on how close the loss was, wife, mother, and things like that, children, we carry little mementos with us. But the most endearing portion of what I carry of Kathy's is her hospital pants. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Everybody said, holy shit, he pulled his pants down. No. But here's one. My program director had a voice. His name was Rick Stevens. Anyone in radio knows Rick. Rick had a voice like, my name is Rick Stevens. Now, this is literally how he sounded. You're listening to Power 106.3, where the point makes the difference. One morning, I don't know what decided me to do this, but I got on the radio as Rick Stevens. And I maxed him to the point. Rick had a great listenership. He had great fans and people who were loyal listeners of Rick. And one morning, and I was on from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. weekday mornings. He was on from 2 in the afternoon till 6 p.m. So people getting off work that listen to Rick Stevens, people going to work listen to me. Well, this day, I don't know why I messed with Rick. But anyway, it was, I'm Rick Stevens on Power 106.3, where the point makes the difference. And people started calling in saying, hi, Rick, what you doing on this? And where's Ted? Ted's not here right now. I'm doing the Ted Williams show. Well, yeah, because normally if he was in fact there, they would say, I'm Rick Stevens sitting in for Ted Williams, that kind of thing. I never said that. I made these people think. So he usually gets up around 7 or 8 and see where I'm going. Program directors and producers and all, they always monitor their work. So I'm like, I'm Rick Stevens. Here's Lean on Me. Now, I threw that on him. I said, for those of you that haven't not had a chance to tape Lean on Me, I'm going to play Lean on Me. That boy got on the phone with me immediately because people that his girlfriend would hear me in the morning. She called him and said, Rick, are you working Ted's shift? And he said, no. And then he listened. Holy shit. So I'm up here. Here's Lean on Me by Club Nouveau. And I went on, I said, that was Club Nouveau. Here's Club Nouveau. But I only did it 3 times. I think I played it 3 times before he said, I'm just going, it is him talking to me on the phone. I'm going to come down and kick your ass. That's what it is. I'm not going to fire you. I'm just going to kick your ass. And then he was mad. I mean, he came in. He immediately came in his pajamas. He said, I'm going to come down and kick your ass. I said, Rick, I'm not going to do it no more. He said, I don't give a shit. I'm coming down there. And he just flew to the radio station, man. I better not had a key broke off in it because they fired me and then they rehired me. And by the way, if you have any comments that you want to share with me, please comment below and let me know what your questions are for me, and I will ask for some answers from you. I've always been under the impression that you can talk to God like he's your friend, which he is my friend in my belief system, but some of the things I ask the Lord, you just don't ask the Lord, or you have to think twice about asking him, or do you just talk to him like he's, well, first of all, is he hearing you? Is one of the things I go through. Is he listening? And so I'm thinking, do you pray differently than when you talk to him, just walking and talking? Or should there be any difference? Or do you actually just take it to prayer right at that given moment? Because, see, I have a problem with that right now. Currently, as I speak to you here, I I can pray to God, but my prayers are shorter when I'm standing than kneeling, getting on the knees. I just sit there sometimes on my knees and I say, our kind Heavenly Father, I'm bowing before you. And then my mind just go blank. But when I'm standing and praying or talking and praying or asking or whatever, they go long. I don't know whether that's trying to eat up time or in the distance that I'm walking or what, but it seems like it's a better walk when you're talking with him than when you're not, Or, Lord, I'll wait till I take it to prayer tonight and ask you what I wanted to ask you a minute ago. Feel like when I have those urges of talking to him, I just don't care. I talk to him like he's my friend. That's my reason for saying to you guys, I want you to get to know me. What my heart is talking. Because I'm talking to you right now. You're my friend. You know what I mean? I don't just say these things to anybody. I'm saying it to you because you're watching the Radio Free Network, GoldenVoiceShow.com. I went and did a commercial, speaking of which, for my dear friend David Chappelle out of Yellow Springs, Ohio.
You can talk about it, but just don't do it.
Yeah, no, I don't remember it. Dave's like, what the?
Right.
He don't remember it? All that money we paid him? No, I'm just teasing, but.
Girl voice.
You still didn't make it right. This still doesn't make it right. I love it. Have you ever made up an excuse or used a different voice or whatever? Because there's some women out here that can sound like men. My daughter Janae, for one. I don't know whether she has testicles or what, but she can bring it out lower than me. Janae, if you're watching this, do not take that offensive. And she knows it. She loves it. Janae can actually. And I said, who's this? Yeah, she can. And I said, who is this? And she'd bust out laughing because she got me. She did it for an entire 10 minutes. And I was like really, really trying to say, Janae, stop that. I'm thinking I'm going to catch it at one point. And the whole 10-minute dialogue was, I thought it was a man. Yeah. So I often wondered, does she have a ball? Does she have balls? Cojones! Well, that's going to do it for this edition of my service mission till I return to burn on the next Golden Voice show. In the meantime, in between time, if you're driving on the highways and the byways, or if you're in the street on your feet, do remember to take it with care to get there. Brother man, sister too, if you can, be nice to someone short because you never know when someone short has to be nice to you. Until next time, my social media friends, I love you very much. Keep sending that support, and I'll keep pumped up. Until next time, may your God be with you. Adios.
It's the Golden Voice Show. Your voice is golden.
That's right. Oh, I love my theme song. Hey, I want to leave you with one more thing, okay? I really enjoy doing this show, and I really like reading your comments and all that energy and inspiration that I get from them. So keep on supporting me, man. The shows are better and better.